Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Old Sled. My name is Eric, and I'm your host for the show. We're doing things a little bit differently this week. I'm trying something new. We are now streaming to two YouTube accounts and my Facebook page, the Benedim page. So hopefully we can make things a little easier for everybody and get some more people involved. So with that in mind, please let me know how everything looks and sounds, and leave me a comment and tell me where you're watching from. We've got some comments coming in already, so let's take a few. Ben from Vintage Mini Bike Lovers. Hello from Mini Bike Central. Looking forward to a great show. I am as well, and I hope everybody enjoys. Bill Ford, watching in Mayfield, New York. Welcome. Glad you could tune in. Rob Baker, listening from Southern California. Glad you could tune in. Out picking up a skidoo, Rob. Didn't know that they had them out that way, but glad you could tune in. Do 640ER, Max Garage, signing in from Northeast Ohio. Thanks, Eric, for hosting another podcast tonight. It's my pleasure, and I'm so glad you could join us. David Trim, watching from Carthage, New York. Welcome. I'm so glad you could tune in. Do 640ER. Sound is great. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know about that. SnowRunner 2125 from Central New Jersey. Welcome. I'm so glad you're able to join us tonight. So now that we're caught up on all the comments, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts for this evening. Back for another episode is my dad, Ben Thomas, who you may know from the Vintage Mini Bike Lovers page and the 1973 Skidoo Blizzard Lovers pages on Facebook. And joining us for the fun tonight is our good friend, Rich Shad. Rich has been with us pretty much from the very beginning of our vintage sled journey, and we couldn't have asked for a better friend to have along for the ride. So, without further ado, let's bring them in. Welcome, guys.
Evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing tonight?
Excellent. We've got some vermin flying around the shop.
Oh,
Rich is not swatting it, in thin air. He's trying to get that moth.
We got him.
oh, got another comment here. Glenn Ford, good evening from Vernon Center, New York. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the show. So yeah, this show is going to be a little bit different than the first two episodes. Kind of a little maybe less structured and just kind of more of a a fun hangout, and just think of this like we're hanging out at the snowmobile shows, or we're in the garage talking stories and just having a good time. So Rich, Ben, I encourage you to jump in at any point with the discussion, and I encourage the audience to do that and leave a comment as well. I think this is going to be a really fun time, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. I think sometimes the best plans are no plans.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know. It's almost more relaxing for me this way than to have to worry about what I'm going to do in what order, and that sort of thing. But I think it's going to be a great time. Oh, we got another comment here from Tim Bewick. Hi, Eric, Ben, and Rich. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Uncle Tim. Glad you could tune in, and hope you enjoy the show. So, I guess we'll just start with Ben. We talked about your 73 Blizzard page before. I mentioned it tonight, and we kind of took a little quick look at that sled last podcast. I know there's been some updates. What have you done with that so far?
Yeah, so the big push was to get it out for one of our local shows that the Taberg Trailblazers have. Jeff Mowers and Ed Stab production organized that show. And I was really pushing hard to get that sled kind of pieced back together to have it presentable for the show. And I was able to do that. We really had a great time at the show. I think there was a lot of interest in that sled in particular. And for anyone that's not following the 1973 Skidoo Blizzard Lovers page, I'd encourage you to do that. I've been kind of featuring the trials and tribulations of that. So originally I was trying to piece together an original 298 engine, and I kind of ran into a snag. I had purchased another project which had some NOS pistons in it, and just me relying on that the seller had purchased them from a reliable person and they were actually standard pistons. But it turned out on closer inspection that one was not a standard, it was an oversized. What normally having an oversized piston is a good thing. My cylinders are standard, and I had these mismatched pistons. So I kind of dropped back and punt a little bit. I'd been trying to piece together a 77 RV engine, and although they're not exactly on the same footprint, they're very close, and at least it's a correct rotary valve engine. So I mocked that up with all the parts, and everybody kept asking me, does it run? And I says, sure, it will run. And then there was really no guts in there. So when I was pulling on the recoil, I said, oh geez, the recoil's broke. And people caught on pretty quick. But since the show on August 8th, I've taken the engine back out, and I've gone through and cleaned the crank cases, cleaned the crank, inspected all the bearings. I'm working through some snags, but I'm almost ready to piece that together. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off for our next show, which is in Turin, New York. That's an awesome show, which is well attended by people throughout the Northeast New York, certainly, and other surrounding states. But people come from far away for that show, including many participants from Canada. So it's a really great show, and I'm hoping to have it back together. Fingers crossed that it will actually be running at that time.
Yeah, that'd be something. I've got an image here from that show. I think we should pop up and let everybody see, because it was kind of a big debut. That sled, for all intents and purposes, hasn't really seen the light of day in 25 years. So
yeah, I had gotten it in like 1989, and it didn't have the right engine. It had a Skidoo, or Kawasaki free air engine 340, and we trail rode that sled. And so I've been really putting it out there recently, trying to see if anybody recognizes the sled and gives me some history on that, because I don't have any. But when the track broke in like 95, it pretty much was on mothballs. I took it out maybe in 2011 for some photos. I considered selling it, and I ultimately changed my mind about that. And so it's literally been in storage. And on the page, I show some of the the barn dust, so to speak, that was on it when we took it out. But I was really pleasantly surprised, because I hadn't really looked the sled over in a long time, and it is in very respectable condition for a sled that was raced. So the goal is to have it be reconditioning in the race ready mode. I'm not going to try to restore this sled. I'd like to basically recondition it, get things mechanically sound and presentable as best I can without sacrificing the originality.
yeah, that sounds like a good plan, and I think people really enjoy that kind of a project. So we got some more.
Watch the page. I'll keep everybody updated.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll once we get a little further along, we'll do some content on it for my YouTube, out for your page, for the Benedine Facebook page, and should be good. We got some more comments coming in. Let's take a few more. Ted Carlson, my son Nick and family are watching from Wyoming. I'm so glad you're able to tune in. Well, spoiler alert, we've got a sled story from Ted. It's a pretty heartfelt story, and you're not going to want to miss it. So that'll be a little bit later. We'll get into that. I greatly appreciate you tuning in, Ted. Sanford and Sleds, Kent, Ohio, ready for episode 3. So glad you're tuning in. It's going to be a great time. Hope you enjoy. Our good friend and fellow North Shore Vintage Sleds member, Carmen Russo. Hello, guys. Hello, Carmen. Glad you could join us. And David Trim, heard about this sled. Appreciated seeing it in Taberg. Thank you for that. Appreciated seeing your sled. That 400 really came out killer. It, yeah, I mean, you had it. If you had it to 95%, perfect before, it's up to like 105% perfect, because it came out really nice. So thank you as always for sharing your sleds, David. Do 640 ER. Where was 4752 raced? That's the problem. We don't know, and we hope by carting it around to these shows, we can maybe find someone who knows something about it. I don't really usually condone trailer queens at the shows, but I think in the case of this blizzard, I'm willing to make a special exception. Hopefully, someone will recognize it, but we don't know. But thank you. Reese Fleury, our good friend, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Ruby Carlson, that thing is sick. I agree, and thank you. Appreciate that. And, stay tuned for further updates on that project. So, Rich, how you been?
Hanging in there.
I
Waiting for
know
snow.
it's maybe not the best circumstances why you're able to join the podcast tonight, but I appreciate you joining anyway. I know the last time we kind of talked, you were at the shop. You had been working on your '67 Colt a little bit. What you got going on with that?
It's still in the shop. It's actually the only one in the shop. The rest of them are either parked outside with covers, or two of them are still in the trailer from the last ride at Pillar Point. So that's been February. I actually opened the trailer the other day to make sure they were still there. They didn't fly away. And while I was in there, I just, for the heck of it, thought I'd try to start them. And they both started right up. The TX340, I did a video and I sent you the video. That was amazing. That thing started right up. It's been sitting in that trailer for months.
Yeah.
But the 67 Colt, when I got it, the seat that was on it wasn't very good at all. And I thought about building a new seat for it. And then I found a guy local here that does upholstery work. And I happened to be going through the 1967 Polaris accessories catalog, or part of the manual. And they actually offered a thicker seat from the factory. So, you know, as well as I do, with the old 60 sled, the seats are like 3 inches thick. So I got the measurements for what they're supposed to be and had a new seat made. So it'll be debuting with a new seat when it comes back out. And the back, I had the back recovered. So, but other than that, it's just sitting there with a cover on it, waiting to be drug back out. But I can't do much with the sleds right now because I'm out on disability, I guess you would call it, because I can't use my legs correctly. So just taking it easy.
Yeah, I think you've been kind of working through the pain for too long, so it'll be good to take it easy, take a step back, and hopefully get yourself ready for snowmobile season, because you're going down the trail one way or another. If we have to get that the fire rescue cutter and strap you to the stretcher, we'll get you out.
Yeah.
So very cool. So like I said, kind of you've been in the vintage snowmobile hobby a little bit longer than us, but you've been there from the beginning of our journey. So kind of you met my dad at the Two Guys show, the last one that they had. And then from there, we've kind of, just hooked up at all the shows. We've, hooked up and done lots of riding, and, eventually went on to, further your, what you started with North Shore Vintage Sleds. So kind of what was your idea with the North Shore group when you started that with Mark?
Mark DeCappa from Two Guys, when it was in business, he used to have like a get together every once in a while. And I stopped down one day and I was talking to him, and he's like, we need to start doing Sunday morning coffee for vintage snowmobiles. So we kind of put the word out there, and we had a few other local people that would come by. Didn't really amount to much, but every time that we got together, we would gain a few people, get some more information, that kind of thing. And then we were trying to do some stuff, but at the time, the shed, or the show that used to be there at Two Guys, was to the point where participation was really low. It was always muddy, and nobody seemed to want to work on it. So Mark and I decided we'll just put a group together, and we'll just have gatherings. And then I met Tom and or Ben at the at one of the shows, and we got talking, and then it just progressed from there. We renamed it, North Shore Vintage Sleds, and Mark is all into it, and everybody got a kick out of the fact that I'm all Polaris's, Mark is all Articats, and you guys are all Skidoos. So we got the majority of the brands covered there.
Representing the big three anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, it was kind of a match made in heaven. Because we're all about the riding, and we really just want to get a group of like-minded individuals and just go have fun and go down the trail. That's what it's all about for me, and I think you can agree with that as well.
Yep.
So we actually do have our ride scheduled, so I'm just going to pop a graphic up real quick for that. It's the 5th annual Vintage Snowmobile Ride put on by North Shore Vintage Sleds. It's the 5th annual, but it's actually, we've only been on, I think, one ride, and then we had like a test and tune because the rest of the years the weather was not cooperative. But that'll be on January 30th, 2027. It is kind of crazy to say 2027, but that is at Joe's Pizza Pub right on Route 49 in West Monroe, New York. There'll be coffee and donuts. We'll go on the ride. We're going to ride to the Vanderbilt Snowmobile warming shack where they'll have their member appreciation day, and they'll have hot dogs, I believe. And then we'll ride back, and there'll be food available for purchase at the restaurant. So sleds do not have to be registered. They need liability insurance. We'll pull a permit, and we just hope everybody can join us for the fun, because it is fun. It's a lot of fun. So, you've got your warning. Get your sleds running now. So
if the weather doesn't cooperate, we're still going to plan on having some sort of a gathering that day. He's got a pretty good sized field down there. So if there's any snow at all, we can at least get the sleds out and play around some. But
yeah, and that's what we did the first year. I don't know if it was 2023, and that was a fun time too. We did what we could with what we had, and join the North Shore Vintage Sleds if you're from the area, and stay tuned because you never know when we're gonna have an impromptu ride. Because I know we really need to take advantage while we've got the snow, because we've had a pretty good winter the past couple years, and I know our schedules and life gets in the way, and we really haven't been able to utilize it at least to the level that I'd like to. But yeah, join the group, and we post about all the shows, and it's just really good community. So we've got some more comments coming in. I'll take those now. Alan Ricalton, I'm very sorry if I butchered your name. We were having a discussion. We weren't sure how to pronounce it. I'm truly sorry, but he's saying hi, guys, and we'll get to see some sled pictures from him a little bit later, so look forward to seeing those. Carmen Russo says, I'll tow it. You'll tow Rich's Polaris. Is that what you mean? Because you're not towing a Skidoo. That's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'll walk home. I'll push it.
I think he's talking about the stretcher.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about the Blizzard.
No.
Yeah, no. Yep, I take it back. You can tow it. Yep.
Us fellow Polaris guys got to stick together.
Yeah. Nancy Rice, who is my aunt. Good evening, sounding great. Thank you. I'm glad you could join us. Ken Crozier here watching. Glad you could tune in. He's also a fellow Polaris enthusiast, and he goes on a lot of the rides with us. So it's we all like to poke fun. It's all in good. It's all in good fun though. We we'll all agree they all have their own quirks and high points, and they all have redeeming qualities. So it's just what you like is what you like, and that's what it is. Adam Case, if someone has a seat open, I'll ride. Yeah, we maybe Rich will pull you around in one of the cutters.
We have plenty of sleds available.
Ned, who actually he's a very, very loyal supporter of my YouTube page, and I finally got the pleasure to meet him at the Taberg show, and that was great because I know we've been talking about it for I don't know, at least a year. So it was good to meet you finally. But have to try to make a ride this winter. Yeah, we would love to see that, and just leave that Alpine 2 at home because I don't want to help move it if we have to get it off the trailer or something because they're pretty heavy. So no, just kidding. Snow Runner, going to make it up for a ride. I hope you can. That'd be great to see you there. And what do we have, like 25, 30 a couple years ago when we actually went on the ride? I think it was a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, something like that.
We had some modern sleds sprinkled in, but I'd say the vast majority were vintage. So that was good to. It was a good day. Yeah. So I kind of had something funny happen to me. Before the Tayberg show, I had when I post stuff on my Facebook, I try to write the comments and the title in a way that's gonna get people's attention and also encourage some engagement. So I posted this clip, which is from the whiteout this past year. Let me get that up here for us to see. And hang on. I can hear the crickets in the background, literally. So I posted this video, this short, and the name of it was "You've Probably Never Seen This Snowmobile Before." And I'll just play that clip for you real quick. So just a cool old race sled. It's got a triple in it. It sounded cool. It looked cool. Do you guys know what that is?
Not until you told me.
Yeah. I think the initial reaction is that it's a Snowjet or Thunderjet. It's the same color blue, but that's actually it's an auto ski Mach, I think 650. So I posted that. 3 days later, we were at Tayberg, and there was not one but two of them there, and I just, what are the chances? And after making such a bold claim, now I kind of got a little egg on my face, but I'll put those up for everyone to see as well.
Better than that, it wasn't the same one, right? This was two separate ones.
It was, the one was a little bit different, and then there was another one that looked almost identical, but that was from that rode up with John from Massachusetts.
Right, from Massachusetts.
It was his buddies. Yeah, so that's three, and then actually looking back through some of my footage, I've actually seen some more. And actually, there was three of them at Tayberg. There was that one that Matt was riding around that was making all the noise. That was an auto ski.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, let me pop that footage up from Tayberg here, and it's just a short clip, and you'll get to see those sleds. Oh, geez. I'm still getting my bearings with control, so bear with me, everybody.
You look at the yellow paint, it's almost, you can almost see green. Like lime, there's like a, it's like a.
No, I know.
Line,
there's the yellow
orange.
It's a yellow orange.
Yeah, and then in '69 you went to the bubble car, and that's yellow.
Right, and then there's yellow.
Yeah. There's like, even though you got speeding paint, there's like three different colors.
650.
So yeah, what do you think about those guys?
I love that sax, the way it's coming through the hood. Those spiny heads are just so classic. And those engines really scream too.
My wife Kristen said they look like flowers, almost like blooming. I thought that was very her, but that's a very unique perspective on it. But I didn't notice at first that this one is a 440 triple. It says that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, they're cool looking sleds, but I think the initial reaction is, oh, that's a snow jet, that's a thunder jet, because that's what it looks like. But yeah, this footage was from the Benedim YouTube channel of the 2026 Taberg, New York show. It's a great show. We look forward to it every year, and it was a great turnout. And I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel and watch that video. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of a little fun thing that happened to me. And you know, when you're gonna make a claim like that, it you know, it is what it is. But I have some more. I have the extended footage of that reel from the whiteout, so I'll just pop that up. I don't think anybody will be opposed to hearing a healthy triple run around.
For sure.
It was cold that day too, so I think it probably ran extra crispy. So get that up here. Actually, I just want to pause it here. Off to the left there in the background, that's an auto ski too. You can see the blue with the the red. So
Exactly.
it's a weird phenomenon, and I've noticed it other times too. You're like, oh, I've never seen one of those before, and then you know, you see like 5 more in a row. But back to your regularly scheduled auto ski triple. Yeah, that's a sweet sled. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, have you ever seen one before? Do you know anything about them? Because I don't even really know anything about them. But we've got some comments, so I'll go read through those now. Reese Flurry would like to try and make it this year. I assume you're talking about our ride. We'd love to have you. Definitely need to get that 12.3 going and make it. I think you could do it. Do 640 ER. Does anyone have opinions on the possible historic El Nino weather some folks are predicting this season? I certainly hope this won't happen. I remember the season of 82 to 83. It was 70 degrees on 12/26. That sounds awful. I don't really know anything about it. I open my weather app, and if it's, you know, shows the snowflake, I get excited, and if it doesn't, I don't. So yeah, I'm not sure. Hopefully we've gotten spoiled the past couple years in this area with some really good winters, so hopefully that'll continue on. Carmen Russo, it was well organized. Not sure if you're talking about Taberg or our ride, but either way, thank you. Ned says, I'm not doing any ride outside my yard on the Elan or the ski rule. Understandable. John Zuccarelli, hi guys. Hello, John. Welcome. I'm glad you could join us. Speaking of, we have 24 viewers right now. That is amazing.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Do 640 auto ski. You are correct. Glen Ford, same thing. Auto ski. Ha, I was correct. You were indeed. Alan, very cool looking sled. Have never seen one before. That's what I thought too, but apparently I had. And actually, it's funny because when we were at the Elbridge show, which was like a month and a half after that footage was taken, there was an Alouette Silver Cloud or Silver Arrow, whatever it is. Really sharp sled. It really stood out at that show. And then since I saw that sled there, I've been seeing it in all my old videos. Like it's not like it just appeared at that show. It just, for whatever reason, I noticed it, and now I notice it in all my videos in the background. And fun fact, I believe that sled was at the Nationals this past month, and it cleaned up. It was well deserved. That sled was sharp. But Reese Flurry, Starburst heads.
Yeah.
Yep. Mike Bartlett, hello, bud. Hello, Mike. Glad you could tune in. How's that new 65 treating you? I expect to see it at the North Shore Vintage Sleds ride on January 30th, 2027. SnowRunner 2125 sounds like a beast. I agree. There's just something about those old race sleds. There was no consideration for any noise pollution for those racers, and I'm here for it. Do 640 ER. I'm not a huge fan of loud sleds, but that auto ski sounds awesome. I have the same sentiment, and I also do love a good race sled from time to time. D. Landsberg, watching from Wyoming. I'm getting a Farmer's Almanac. We'll see what it says. Welcome. I'm glad you're able to tune in, and yeah, let's see what it says. Hopefully snow, and more snow. Carmen Russo, yes and yes. Perfect. Taberg and the North Shore Vintage Sleds ride was well organized. David Trim, the auto ski sounds great. Could be louder. Can you even hear at this point, Dave? We need to get you some stock mufflers for all your sleds. Troy Horning, hey guys, another member of the North Shore Vintage Sleds group.
Hey, Troy.
How are you doing? Mike Bartlett runs great. Well, of course it does. It's a Skidoo. So glad to hear it. Ned had a Skidoo carry boost follow me home last week. That is awesome. I would love to know more about that. I've been looking for one myself. So very cool. It's funny how stuff follows you home, especially when the trailer's attached. It's just stuff hops on. So I think from there, it's a good segue into talking about Alan from Winona sent me some images and some, a little bit of a story. So let's check that out. So just a quick plug, as long as we're talking about Al here. He puts on the Winona's Tire Iron Vintage Show and Ride. It's actually prior to this year, it was just the ride, but this year they're doing a show, and it's pretty unique because they're doing a rider and a non-rider sled class, which is amazing, and I think it levels the playing field quite a bit. And we've been talking about that forever. Like, there needs to be a rider class, because that's what all our sleds are. They're not made to, look pretty. They're made to go. So it's very cool. But that is going to be on February 21st, 2027, Winona's CCC on County Route 90 in Lorain, New York. Well worth the effort to attend. I highly encourage it. It promises to be a great event, and I can guarantee, as long as there's snow, there will be perfect trails. So yeah, Al had reached out to me shortly after the first episode and sent some images, so we'll just go through that here. Let me get situated. So Al said, Found some old pics of my first sleds. Thought you might get a kick out of them. My first one was the TX 335, and then the Nordic 399, and then the TNTs. The old sled was my dad's 7 horsepower Kohler. And then I replied, "Those are awesome. Thank you very much." Quite the array of sleds. I know Rich is probably drooling over that the ATX 335, but I noticed this picture, the Ford truck in the background. So my reply was, "Those are awesome. Thank you. Any more info on that Ford truck in the background of the one picture? Based on the grill, it looks like a 71 to me. Is that still in the family?" And actually, I misspoke. It looks like a 72. So he replied, "My dad and I had quite the collection of old Fords. This is my 67. The others were his. 1948, 1972, and a 1979. We don't have them anymore. I do know where the 79 is. We put a 298 in it,
Nice.
and we put a 390 in mine. Fun times. This is my 68 and 67, getting a fresh engine. I was hard on that truck, went through plenty of engines. I could do a complete swap in a few hours." And he said, "This is me at 2 years old. My fascination with Fords started early." So I know you've got to have some comments to that, Ben. That's kind of right up our alley, anyway. But it's
My
funny
dad,
how. Go ahead.
my dad was a Chevy man. Ironically, he did not like Ford from the standpoint that there was not good interchange between the engines from one model to the next, and the parts. If you had to change transmission, they all had a special bell housing. But I fell in love with a Ford. He bought my brother one, a 74 F100. And then when I was in high school, senior, I drove that truck. The 302 in it, I trashed, and I was going to change that out. And I ran into snags with that one. I ended up putting a different engine in there. And then, little by little, it just wasn't worth working on. So I ended up, swapping it out for something else. But fast forward to when we were moved into our house, and the driveway is 500 feet. I needed something to plow, and so I bought 67, which needed work, and I had a 68 that I'd picked up, and so that really started my love affair with Fords. And as we have a couple still, including our 67 fire truck, which is part of the family, really. Low mileage. They're just awesome. And you tend to find out that when people like old sleds, they also like old other stuff, and trucks, cars,
Yeah, it all goes hand in
motorcycles.
hand. Like you said, you kind of got started on mini bikes. I would say I kind of got started on old tractors. Rich, I know you've done it all. You've had some old cars, you've had some old sleds. It's funny how that stuff goes hand in hand, and especially with snowmobiles, you need something to do in the summer when the snow's not flying. So I greatly appreciate Alan sharing those with me. I thought you'd get a kick out of them. It's kind of funny because Al does the Ford Skidoo thing just like we do. So yeah, what'd you think about that TX, Rich?
Yeah, I got two of them sitting in the shed, but eventually maybe I'll get one together.
Maybe they won't be sitting in the shed eventually.
Yeah, they're stripped
Yeah.
to the bare chassis right now. So
Someone was awful proud of that Polaris because that's a big logo.
yeah, they did that a lot. I see on the race sleds. They put the big Polaris across the front behind the motors. See that in a lot of pictures.
Yep, a couple nice TNTs here. I think that's it's like looks like maybe a 70 399, and then that looks like a 71 that's been painted black. Very cool. Cool Nordic next to the TX there. And then obviously I really like that sled a lot with the Kohler engine. But Al, I know you're watching. What out of the group here, what was your favorite sled? Love to hear which was your favorite and which you'd wish you had back. So, we got a ton of comments coming in. Let's take those here. Jeffrey Maurer, hello. Jeff was
Well, Jeff.
in charge of putting on the Tabor show, and he did a fantastic job as always. It's kind of the one event that I think we'll always go to, and it certainly helps that it's a stone's throw away from my driveway. It's easy to get to. It's literally like 10 minutes up the road. So, thank you, welcome. Troy Horning says we are going to do your vintage ride also. I look forward to seeing it. You planning on riding the Caribous or one of your other sleds? I know the Caribous are up at Trim Motorsports getting some carb work done to them, so I'm sure Dave will get those running in tip-top shape for him. John Zuccarelli, sorry can't stay. Good night, guys. Thanks, no. Thank you for tuning in anyways, and hope you can tune in next time. Mike Bigger, hello all. Hello, Mike. Glad you could join us. Alan from Winona, thanks for the tired iron plug. Old pics are great, brings back lots of memories. And I greatly appreciate you sharing those with me, Al. It is exactly what I'm looking for this podcast, just to, share everybody's stories and, learn a little bit about everybody. Because I know all these old pics are out there. It's just a matter of getting them out to the world. So thank you for sharing, and I look forward to the show and the ride this year, and I hope everybody can make it because it's well worth it. Ned had a 78 F-250 and a 79 Bronco at the same time, both rusted away. That's too bad. We're kind of in the area for that though. We're known for salt. It's unfortunate, but the way it works. Do 640 ER. I'm Skidoo and Ford also. Birds of a feather. They go hand in hand, like spaghetti and meatballs. Am I right? Troy Horning. They're back home now, but I have bubbles. Oh, nice. We should get together at some point because I know those are the three Caribous are very interesting sleds, and I know you enjoy showing them, and I think people would enjoy getting to know a little bit about the story. Al from Winona, favorite was probably the TX, which is odd being a do guy. It was my first sled, so that means a lot to me. Okay, I'll let you keep your Skidoo card. You don't get to choose your first sled; it chooses you oftentimes. But no, thank you again, Al, and look forward to the ride. Ken Crozer, the 335 is one of my favorites too. I think it would be a fun sled. I know the 500 is fun. I think the 335 would be fun too. But that's actually kind of a good segue without spoiling too much. I thought it would be fun to do like a little snowmobile trivia. So, Rich, you're not allowed to answer. What was the first production triple snowmobile offered to the general public by Polaris? Leave your answer in the comments below. So, I should have said just in general because it was the first in general, right, Rich? It wasn't just by Polaris. It was the first across the board, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Like Bigger, although I'm a Polaris guy, I do own 66 and 67 Olympics. Glad to hear that. Those are very popular. Do 640 ER says Centurion. No. And we have a winner. TX 500. 1972. I just so happen to have an image and a clip of one that you may recognize, Rich. So let me pop those up real quick. 70 and Ken Crozier came in 72 ATX 500. That's Rich's sled. I think this was the first winter it was out on snow after he did a full nut and bolt restoration, and one thing I will say is I was absolutely blown away by that sled the first time I saw it. We had kind of talked about it, when we were just getting to know each other, and then you showed it to us, when we were over there that time. We were probably picking up pallets for Halloween or whatever, and you popped the cover off, and I was just absolutely blown away. You did a good job on that, Rich.
Thanks.
So,
Took a year and a half to put it together, and the first place it went was the Nationals show in Old Forge.
yep.
That was my goal, was to get it together for that. And since then, I put over 200 miles on it riding it. Love it.
Yep. And yeah, so he didn't know that I was going to post that picture. That was kind of a little surprise. And I thought, in honor of Rich joining us as a co-host tonight, we would make the trivia applicable to that. But I actually have a clip of the first real ride you took of that at our North Shore Vintage Sleds Test and Tune in 2023. So I'll pop that up for everyone to see now. I mean, how cool is that? Those things sound like an airplane taking off or something. They have quite the unique sound. But as you're ripping across the field at two guys, what's going through your head, Rich? Had to be a pretty cool moment for you.
Yeah, just to see what it would actually do out on. I'd ridden it around my yard a little bit, but that's limited, space. But to be able to open it up and see what it really would do, it's the thing that gets me with that sled is if you're on a good hard packed, trail, and you nail the throttle, the left front pulls right up in the air. It's amazing how that sled, how much torque that it has, for being as old as it is. That sled, that motor's never been apart.
Yep.
So right now it's 54 years old, and you can't beat those old sleds.
Yeah, and there was a lot of unknowns going into that test ride because you had taken it on a vintage ride before the restoration. It didn't quite end the way you wanted it to. You were going to fix it, but your wife was like, well, if you're going to do it right. And then, half an hour later, it was in nuts and baggies and bolts and raw sled pieces. And you built it up from there. But you would also mess with the gearing a little bit. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there was some options for gears in those sleds, and factory gears were more or less geared for more, low end racing, that kind of thing. So I swapped the gears out and went to it's more trail friendly now. Top end is definitely a little higher than it used to be, I would say, but it doesn't hurt the bottom end as far as, takeoff speed or anything like that. It's very responsive for having twin cylinder, motors. Keeping them tuned is one thing, but when you got three, it's a whole nother ball game. And knock on wood, that sled has been right on, other than the time that I forgot to turn the fuel back on. We won't go into that.
I was going to say, I don't know much about Polaris, but I know they don't run too good if you don't turn the fuel on. But yeah. I definitely can appreciate what you're doing with the gearing, but if it was my sled, I would try to get all the low end and just pick those skis right up when you nab the throttle. And then you got the 335. That one you can have your tame trail sled. That's just me, but no, that sled goes pretty good. I've had the pleasure of riding it, as have you been, and we got to get some more footage of that. That sled has been criminally neglected on my YouTube page. We've got lots of footage of the TX. We've got footage of the Colts. We need to get more footage of the ATX, and we got to make that a goal for this winter. So.
Well, I would say this. We should plug Mike LaPierre and the Vintage Snowmobile podcast. Mike had us on as guests at the end of 2023. We were plugging our event that we were doing. And Rich had that sled here in the shop. and everyone was goading him to start it. And of course, it did take a minute or two to start it. We'll say, I won't steal all the thunder, but that thing is just so sounds so awesome and up close and personal. I think we really captured the essence of that sled on that podcast. So I'd encourage anybody to go find that past episode and check it out.
Yeah, and it's that just doesn't sound like your regular triple. I'd say more the triples have more of that, like I'll say the crackle, the loud crackle. It sounds like an airplane taking off. That's the only way to describe it. It doesn't sound like anything else out there. Nothing sounds like it out there. It's quite the unique sled.
It has a triangular shaped muffler,
Yeah.
which is the only one that I've ever seen in any of the sleds. And you got three cylinders into a triangular muffler and then two outlets. And the pipes come out and they point kind of toward the back of the sled out the belly pan. So it does have a unique sound, definitely.
Honestly, you could probably wake that sled up even more by doing, three pipes, because there's got to be some restriction, going three down to, one muffler, three down to, I guess there's two outlets of it, but no, yeah, very cool, very awesome sounding sled, and I know it's one you're very proud of, and you should be, because it looks amazing and it runs amazing, and it definitely deserves a lot of appreciation, being the first aluminum chassis triple available to the public, the general public. What was there, like 1,500 of them made, one per dealer or something like that?
Yeah, they made their production numbers are supposed to be like 1,500, but they were made in the same production run as the other sleds. So if, in the registry that I had, their serial numbers are all over the place. They're not like 1 through 1,500. There's some in the 2000s. Ken Crozier has one. His serial number is, similar to mine, but there's not many of them left. My registry only shows it's like less than 50 of those ATX 500s that are left out of all the ones that they built. So,
yep. Who knows? There might be, a few stuck in the barn somewhere. Maybe someone will find them. But yeah. So, any other comments before we move on to the next segment? I've got an awesome sled story I'm excited to get to, but
yeah, I just like to generally say a couple things. One is our ride. We've talked about that periodically already, and people always ask, what year sled can I bring? We don't discriminate any sled. Obviously we'd love to see a vintage sled. But all we ask is at the ride, if you have a sled newer than 1980 is kind of where we put the cutout. We just ask that you ride further back, that the old dogs are up front. And then with Winona, that's really the reason, Eric, as you know, why we got into sleds vintage, because we wanted to really have a place that you could really ride a vintage sled, upwards of 40, 50 miles without, any trouble on trails that are so well maintained. And it's just the ideal location. So for anyone that hasn't had a chance to get a vintage ride out, these rides are permitted rides. So you only need to maintain insurance, which is dirt cheap. Typically for $25 or $50 max, you can insure your vintage sled, and you don't need to have it registered. Although there is some new program in New York where we're going to be able to register vintage sleds for not full cost. So that's a good thing too. But definitely check it out. We'd love to have everybody there. Even if you don't ride, come down and check out the sleds, especially at the show in Winona. We definitely want people to come out and enjoy these things.
Yeah, and I will say also, like with our ride, we've got a lot of people willing to help if there is an issue, breakdown. There's lots of road crossings to get sleds to pick them up, and the full crew's working at Winona, and breakdowns are not an issue, because one way or another they'll get the sleds back, so you don't have to be worried about that. And no one makes fun of you too bad if you break down. It's just part of the game, and it's all in good fun either way. And like I said, nobody's going to leave you stranded on one of these group rides. That's all part of the vintage sled community. So we've got a couple more comments. Glenn Ford, very nice, Rich. I agree.
He's actually ridden that sled as well. I put him on it at the whiteout.
At the whiteout, yep, I remember. You talking about that. Mike Bigger, love your TX, Rich.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a very very cool sled. Um, so with that, I'm gonna try to get myself bigger here. Oh boy, I've never tried this maneuver before. Hang on, I gotta throw you guys backstage for right now. Okay, so full screen. So, um, let's get the guys back here. There you are. As I say many times, the idea with this podcast is to really lean on the audience, our viewers, to hear their stories and see, a glimpse into their, vintage sled journey. And almost immediately following the first show, Ted Carlson wrote in a story, and it's truly heartfelt, and it it really gives another dimension to what a vintage snowmobile can mean to somebody. And so this is my favorite segment, and it's what I look forward to. Sled Stories, Volume 2, more than just a snowmobile. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And, like I said, leave your comments below, guys, and we'll kind of discuss once I get through. Hey there. I wanted to share a truly heartfelt story. One that really shows how much more snowmobiles can be. For my family, they've been the foundation for incredible memories and at times a true source of comfort during life's toughest moments. My name's Ted Carlson, and I grew up in southwest Wyoming, part of a family that you could definitely call gearheads. Snowmobiles were just a natural part of our lives. I remember it like it was yesterday. Around 1988, a family friend was moving to Texas and generously gifted us his 1977 Skidoo RV. That's when I truly caught the sled bug. My older brother was supposed to share it with us, younger kids, but let's just say that didn't happen as often as I'd hoped. Haha. I desperately wanted my own. My wish finally came true in 1992. That Christmas, my parents surprised my little brothers and me with an Arctic Cat Lynx 300. It was the coolest thing ever. I even rode it to school sometimes. The backstory to getting that sled is pretty legendary in our family. On Christmas Eve, my dad went to the dealership to pick it up. The dealer pointed him to the sled closest to the big bay door and handed him a key. My dad, without a second thought, hopped on and rode off. On his way home, he kept thinking, wow, this 340 has some serious power. When he got home, he asked my mom what sled they had actually bought. She said, a Lynx 300. They went outside, and that's when they realized he had mistakenly ridden off with a Wildcat 700. He had to take it back, of course, and on his return trip, a local sheriff actually pulled him over. Thankfully, once Dad explained the whole mix-up, the officer had a good laugh and let him go. Fast forward a bit, and now I have my own amazing family. 2 boys and 2 girls. I always had a soft spot for the Skidoo RVs, so I eventually tracked down a 1978 Blizzard and brought it home. My sons, who were around 8 or 9 at the time, spent countless hours working on it with me. I didn't realize it then, but those moments were cementing memories that they still treasure to this day. Life, as it often does, threw us some curveballs, and I unfortunately had to sell the Blizzard and a few other cool old sleds we'd collected over the years. 2 years ago, my youngest son, Nick, started his own family. He came to me and said, Dad, we need to get some sleds so I can work on them with my boys, just like you did with us. That really warmed my heart, so we hunted down some old Skidoos. We found an RV that was practically a basket case, and another was an EXT. We brought them home full of big plans and excitement. Then something truly heartbreaking happened. My youngest grandson, Theo, Nick's son, passed away at just 4 months old. As a parent and grandparent, navigating such profound grief was incredibly difficult for all of us. I desperately wanted to find a way to bring some light back into our lives, something to focus on and help us cope. A few months before Theo's passing, Nick had actually stumbled upon our old Blizzard, but with today's prices, it was simply out of reach. Knowing how much it meant, my oldest son, Carson, and I decided to pool our resources and secretly buy it back. The look on Nick's face when we pulled up with that old Blizzard in the back of my truck was absolutely priceless and something I'll never forget. Working on these old sleds has genuinely become a significant part of our healing process, helping us navigate our heartache one wrench turn at a time. And it sparked an idea. What if we could honor Theo's memory and raise awareness for SIDS at the same time? So on June 27th this year, we hosted our very first Snowmobile for SIDS sled show. It was an absolutely incredible success. You know, I've come to realize that it's not really about the machines themselves. What makes them so special are the unforgettable memories and the pure joy we share with our friends and loved ones while enjoying them. Please feel free to share any or all of the story if you think it resonates. I truly appreciate all the fantastic work you do. Oh, and please tell your dad I'm really looking forward to seeing the sled where those RV parts I sold him are going. So that's a lot to take in, and I truly appreciate you sharing that. I know it couldn't have been easy, and my condolences to you and your family. And you had sent that to me, a couple weeks before I became a dad myself, and I hadn't really thought about it too much, after my daughter was born, just busy with that. But when I started going through it to put this together for the show, it definitely hit a little bit harder, being a new dad myself. So yeah, my condolences, and um, anytime you need to talk, I'm always available. So what do you guys say to that? That's an incredible story.
Ted and your family, our hearts go out to you. You know, I think I actually bought a gasket set from Ted originally, and then I saw on the Blizzard forum, the one for 6,500, 7,500 is the more modern Blizzard, that Ted was having some engine troubles, and our mutual friend Mark Messy was trying to work through that, and it just wasn't coming together for Ted, and so he decided to sell some of those parts, and I reached out, and it was really awesome, Ted. You really, helped me out in my projects. Unfortunately, I haven't really advanced all of those parts, but you will definitely get to see that. But as far as grief, it's a funny thing, and so obviously your family is, still, working through the grief. It's a process, right? And so I can't help but think about, other families that have lost children. God forbid that ever happens to a family. Somehow, God finds a way to give you the strength to carry on, and that's what you do to honor, your loved one. And I think about all the families I know that have, lost a child, and they say, it's the worst thing for a parent to have to bury a child. That's just hard to fathom. And I'm just always truly amazed how God's grace really gives people the strength to go on. And you don't know that. Like, I didn't know Ted's story, and that he lost Theo. How do you really cope with that? And you don't know that. And so in every day, we encounter people that are struggling through all kinds of things that you really don't know. And the neat thing about the snowmobile world is it's a very inclusive world. It's a very supportive world, but we really don't know, and I think back to our friend Maddie Bewick. One of our first gatherings in 2024. It was really the second ride. We had hardly any snow, but we did our event in honor of Maddie Bewick, and the support for him. The celebration of life that went on, and his name carries on. That light continues to shine, and so I applaud your family, Ted, for bringing this. Recognition as a way to celebrate Theo, and I'm sure your thoughts are, if you can help one family not have to go through this struggle, it's well worth it, right? And it's just a great way to honor the memory of a loved one and do some good at the same time. So our hearts are out to you and your family, and it's really. I'm proud to know you, Ted. That really just speaks volumes about you and your character and your family.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask for a favor from everybody. They started a page on Facebook, Snowmobile for Sids. Doesn't cost any money. Just go follow the page and show your support, show your love, and we'll all get through this together. And like I said, anytime you need to talk, I'm you know how to get a hold of me. So I truly thank you for sharing your story. I hope I did it justice, and I know I was a little slow in the beginning there. I'm working through some new technologies, but that isn't what I expected when I set out asking for these stories. But I'm glad you shared it, and you know I look forward to getting to know you a little better and seeing how you progress with hopefully the show next year will be even bigger, and I'm sure we'll be sharing some RV photos with you when we get in gear on that. So I'm gonna pop my graphic up. Follow me on all my socials. You know, share your sled stories. Thisoldsled@gmail.com. It doesn't have to be as thorough as what Ted just shared. It could be as simple as just sharing some sleds that you had growing up, or some old pictures, or whatever you want to do. It doesn't even have to have pictures. You can send them to the Gmail, or you can send them in Messenger on. For those of you on Facebook, follow my Ben and Dean page. So yeah, let's take a couple comments here. A little bit of everything, not sure what to ride. Well, that's easy, Troy, and this is expert advice, so listen up. Whichever one starts on the morning of the ride, that's what you ride. No, that's. I think it'd be cool to see those caribous out on
Oh,
the
yeah.
trail, for sure. Rush fan, I've got a 71 Nordic out in the barn. Looks like it was run over by a skidder, but young me rode it to death.
Yep.
That's all you old timers. You guys were rough on sleds. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing there's any of them left. Yeah, it's crazy some of the old videos that you see. Just absolutely no regard for the sled's life, let alone the rider's life. Just full scent all the time. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. Mike Bigger, heartbreaking story. Thank you for sharing. Yes, truly heartbreaking, and one that nobody should really have to go through. But yeah. Do 640 ER. Vintage sleds are great therapy until you have too many. LOL. Yeah, then you need a different kind of therapy for hoarding.
How many is too many?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too many.
Dave Trim, I don't know if he coined the phrase, but he's the one that said it to me. It's not hoarding if your stuff is cool. So
Yep.
just make sure
Very
you have
true.
cool stuff. Ruby Carlson, thanks for telling our story. No, thank you for sharing. And like I said, not my door, my virtual door is always open. If you ever need to talk, even if it's just talk about old skidoos, I'm always down for that. As you can see, I've been kind of rambling on for over an hour now. Wow, the time flies. But thank you, truly. And we'll have to see what next year brings for your event. But like I said, please go to Facebook and follow their page and show your support. And wow, we have 31 viewers. That's amazing. And I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. So, um, yeah, that's a lot to take in, and I think I should have did that before I became a dad, because that, like, it does hit you differently. It's amazing how much different it is, how much different your perspective is. But yeah, so Ned, it's not hoarding. I'm getting enough stuff for my estate sale. Yeah, you got to make that worthwhile, right? So
It's a new angle.
yeah. So, um, that's kind of all the material I had planned. What do you guys think? What should we talk about the next show? I kind of got an idea to talk about breakdown stories. I think that would be kind of fun and interesting. We ride skidoos, so we don't have any breakdown stories. But no, no, just kidding.
Is it a breakdown if the recoil breaks before you get started?
I don't think so. I think if you don't have to get towed back or walk back to the trailer, you're set. So
Maybe the viewers have some ideas. We got quite an audience. Maybe they've got some ideas about what they'd like to see the next episode.
yeah, and I keep harping on this, but follow me on all my socials. There's the email, thisoldsled@gmail.com. You can send your stories to, or write on the Benedim Messenger. If you're going to do a lot of pictures, the Messenger probably might be a little easier. But either way, yeah, let's see what you got. I do think breakdown stories would be pretty fun, and I know you've got some, Ben. I know you've got some, Rich, and I'm sure a lot of people got some. So yeah, look forward to the next podcast. It seems like it comes and goes so fast, and I always look forward to doing it. It's a lot of fun, and I keep saying maybe I need to do 2 a month, or every week, but it's just like, oh, I can't fathom putting one together every week. I don't know how Mike does it, but I look forward to it every week, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. And I have to ask, has it made any difference being able to view on Facebook? How did it work tonight? We've been hovering, in the mid 20s to 30 viewers, which is fantastic. Couldn't ask for anything better, but let me know how this works, if I need to continue with this format, or if I need to come up with something different. But we have a slew of comments, so let's take some comments. Ned, only ride as far as willing to walk. That's a good rule to live by, for sure, when you're dealing with vintage sleds. Troy Horning, we will get together with the caribou stories soon. I look forward to it. I still remember seeing your caribou with the cutter at that first winter show that me and my dad went to, the last Square Valley show at Two Guys. There wasn't many sleds, but yours certainly stood out for sure. So look forward to hearing what you have to say, Troy. Ted Carlson, thank you guys so much. Definitely need to come out and meet you guys. Definitely down for that. Come when it's winter so we can do some riding. I know you shared a couple look like grass drags. Let me find it here. But yeah, come when there's snow. That's when we like to ride. Yeah, that's just awesome. I think
there's quite a group gathering in New York State for the grass drags. There's Relic Riders, there's Leaf Spring Outlaws, there's the other one at Casog they do drags. So I think it's really the resurgence in grass drags is really starting to hit its stride here in New York. So yes, it'd be great to have you guys come out to ride, but I would love to experience some grass drags with you guys, just even if you didn't bring a sled and we're spectators. There's so much to see and do here. And my parole terms don't let me go east, west of the Mississippi. So I'm not sure how soon I'd get out to your way, but I'd love to get out that way too, truthfully.
Yeah, this is a great image here. I feel like Wedge Life, I do like TNT Tuesday. He does Ski Tips Up Tuesday. And
Yeah.
that's just awesome. But so cool. The other, I think this is of the show. And, for a first year show, that is a very good turnout. And hopefully it'll get bigger and bigger. And, when it gets closer, hopefully I can help out with that. And I'll do what I can to get the word out. But the pictures that really caught my attention were this one and the next one. That's Ted's boys, when they were little, and then fast forward to when they're adults and they recreated the picture. That's just priceless. But yeah, a lot of good stuff here. Showing your grandchildren working on the sleds and yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, you don't realize it, and I can attest to it because I'm in the same position that your boys are in. But you know, even the bad memories of working on sleds when it's midnight and you've been working on it all day in the cold and you're not really getting anywhere. It is something that sticks with you forever. So, like I said, thank you so much for sharing. Mike Bigger, thank you for this podcast. I really enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you can tune in for the next show. It is going to be the last Tuesday in September, which would be September 29th at 8 p.m. The stream actually opens at 5 up just to give people a chance to get logged in and situated. But that's the plan, September 29th at 8 p.m. And like I said, I think we're going to talk about breakdown stories. I think that sounds like fun. Mike Bartlett, you guys going to the turn show? That's the plan.
Always
Rich,
the plan.
are you going with sleds, with spectating? What's your plan?
What's that?
What's your plan, Rich? Are you going with sleds or just to spectate?
I'll let you know when the doctor tells me what I can do. I'm definitely going. I just don't know whether it'll be with sleds or without.
Gotcha. Yep, totally understand. So yeah, we'll be there, Mike. Look forward to seeing you. Al from Winona, thanks guys. I have a good breakdown story to share next time. Look forward to hearing it. Yeah, that'll be fun. Mike Bartlett, working great. Good, glad to hear that. Al from Winona, Facebook works good for me. Good, glad to hear. Glenn Ford, Facebook is perfect for me. LOL, hope to make a ride this year. Thank you for the feedback. I guess it sounds like it might be unanimous. I gotta keep with the the current setup, but I hope to see you at a ride as well. D. Landsberg, great story tonight. Strong family for sure. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for commenting, and totally agree. Facebook is the ticket for the electronically challenged.
Yep.
I wouldn't put it like that, Uncle Tim. I think Facebook is just a little bit more intuitive if you're not used to using YouTube. I could see why it wouldn't be as user friendly. So I'm happy to do what I can to get people involved. Sanford and Sleds, yes, Northeast Ohio, Max Garage, and I need to make the 6-hour drive to meet you guys and ride. I totally agree. That Winona ride is a great one to show up for. You will not be disappointed. I mean, our ride is great too, but I'm just saying, Winona, it's the place to ride. Do 640 ER, great show tonight, Eric. Thanks for a sweet Tuesday evening. Thank you as always for your support, Mark. Not just with the podcast, but with my YouTube, and you've come to be a good friend and a good person to chat with about vintage snowmobile. So I just greatly appreciate that. And it is a sweet Tuesday night. Any night where you get to just ramble on about vintage sleds with a group of friends is a great night. And like I said, I almost want to do this more often, but I just don't know if I could throw that together. But very cool. Thank you as always. Tim Bewick, amazing story. Hits too close to home. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine. But Mike Bartlett, I'm buying, LOL, and selling. I thought like 5 years ago you said you were getting out of this, and now you have more sleds than ever. So I don't know what you're doing, Mike, but I'm here for it. I like your 65 a lot. They're
He
they're
does
some of
that
my,
on a monthly basis.
yeah, they're some of my favorite sleds, the 65s. And did you sell your one you're trying to sell, or do you got 3 of them now? What's the deal, Mike? Ned, thank you, folks. Thank you. And like I said, it was great meeting you finally. And hope we can catch up again at another show. Dave Trim, everyone, there's an upcoming show in Carthage on September 26th. I hope to see you all there. That is true. Dad, take over and talk for a little bit. I'll try to get that graphic here.
Yeah, the thing with our page, North Shore Vintage Sleds, is we don't really exclude anybody from out of the area. It's a great clearinghouse. Rich does an excellent job. People send us their flyers for different shows, and we try to post all of the New York events on our page. So if you're ever wondering what's going on, you can always join our group. We're just really trying to make sure there's no scammers. So answer the questions, agree to the rules, and you're pretty much in.
Keep going.
Oh, keep going. Okay. Well,
Oh, yeah.
The other thing that occurred to me is, there's a turn show on September 5. We're going to be there. There's a couple of events going the following weekend. Dave mentions that show on the 26th. That's one we intend to go to as well. It is really hard to keep up on all the shows. There's so many awesome shows. And, we barely scratch the surface when we talk about the ones that are in Central New York. But there is, Central New York, Northern New York, Western New York. There is just a strong, Eastern New York, way over by Albany area. There's just a ton of great shows. We are so blessed in our area to have really a strong vintage snowmobile following. We like to go to the ones in the wintertime where you can actually ride. And it's just fun, getting together. And so, what I'm noticing with a lot of the comments is I am seeing a lot of the same people that follow our North Shore Vintage page. And that's awesome. I love seeing all these, everyone in person when we do go to the shows. I was getting razzed a little bit at the Taberg show that I hadn't been to one in a while, but maybe not physically, but I'm there in spirit always. And Eric does a great job, as you all know, on his Benedim channel in doing highlight reels, a walkthrough of every show that he attends. And so you ever want to see what you missed at a show, that's a great way to do it.
Okay,
So
Dave coming in clutch, sending it to me. I actually just found it as soon as it came through the messenger. But
nice.
Where it's at the Carthage Fire Department, and like I said, it's on September 26th. Gates open at 8 a.m. Show starts at 9. Just your standard classes, but they did add a utility sled class, so you'll definitely be seeing a big green Alpine there from us. But great show and great atmosphere, and it's a nice paved lot they have there at the fire department. So hope you all can make it. Yeah. Sanford and Sleds, thanks Eric. Enjoyed it as usual. What would be a great show and ride for us Ohio boys? With a heavy emphasis on the riding part, definitely the Winona ride. If we get if we get good snow for our ride on January 30th, that would be a good ride as well. As far as a show, the Whiteout's going to be the biggest show with the most sleds. Also, our favorite show at Owen's Orchard is always a good time. But
Cherry Creek does an excellent show near Buffalo. They do a ride as well.
yeah, we should probably try to get out there. I know it's tough to travel in the winter, especially you never know what the weather's going to do. But old Ski-Doo 2 breakdowns. Yeah.
Do you know anything about those?
No, like I said, we're Skidoo. We've never. I'm definitely gonna look to Rich for these stories. No, it's all
I
part of the.
recall of watching a video of a certain 65 Olympic being towed not too long ago.
In all fairness, that didn't break down. That just didn't start. That was.
It was literally like a light switch. Yeah.
That was the night before the whiteout. We had like a foot of fresh powder. I mean, it was just eating right through it, no trouble. We wanted the sprayer because we were trying to start the 75 and went out and it didn't start. So
running 1 minute wasn't the next. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't bring up the Alpine. That's like the ultimate breakdown story. That was the nuclear option breakdown. But yeah. Troy Horning, Mike just got one from me. He can't help himself. Mike Bartlett, yeah, sold it to Maine. Great guy, bought it. He's been looking for one for years now. I need a 63 and a 64. Why stop there? 62, 61, 60, 59. Got to get them all. Great show tonight. Looking forward to Turin. Me as well. And we'll be there. There'll either most likely be a North Shore Vintage Sleds banner or a Benedine banner. So come find us and say hi. Mention the podcast. That'd mean a lot to me. We're all caught up on comments for now. I think we're pretty much winding down. Rich, I greatly appreciate you joining us. It's a lot of fun. Any closing remarks you want to share with the viewers?
No, it's a great podcast. I try to get to them as often as I can. Normally I'm working at this time, but right now I'm not. So I think that's 2 in a row that I've been able to get, attend. So
I think the first one you weren't working, and then the second one, right in the middle, you had to go change a tire. And then here you are now. So the next one's a coin flip, but yeah, I hope we can in the future, do a podcast and kind of dive into some of the riding footage that we've done over the years, and maybe look at the footage from our ride that we went on in 2025. Because I have a feeling that your experience on that ride is different from my experience. Because we were kind of far away. You were at the head of the pack. I was at the back of the pack filming, and I'm sure you saw things that I didn't see, and vice versa. So it'd be kind of interesting to get each other's perspective on that. But who knows? The possibilities are limitless, and just like tonight, we can have a minimal plan and still have a great time talking about sleds. And it's really exciting for me to see that kind of come to fruition. So, Dave Trim, good time tonight. See you all in Turin. Yes, look forward to seeing you, Dave. Are you bringing sleds or just spectating? See you guys at Turin. Thanks for the podcast. Thanks, Troy. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I hope you can make the next one as well. Do 640 ER. Thanks, Ben, Eric, and Rich. You all made it fun. No, really, it's you guys, all the people watching and commenting, and everybody that shared stories. Al and Ted, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Tim Bewick says, enjoyed the show. Great to see you guys. Likewise, Tim. Hope we get to catch up soon, maybe before the next show you guys host, but we'll definitely be there for sure if you have it again. Dave Trim says, just 2 sleds for Turin. Okay. Which 2? Not to drag this on any longer, but yeah, let me pop. Well, follow me on all my socials. We've got the Benedim Facebook page. I'm on Instagram. I've got the 2 YouTubes, which this is being broadcast to currently, and thisoldsled@gmail.com. Reach out to me. It can be as simple as a picture, an old picture, or it can be a new picture, or really, I can work with whatever you guys have, and it really makes it fun for me just seeing what everyone has to say and what everyone has to share. So, Glenn Ford got some more comments coming through. Great job, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Jeffrey Maurer, great podcast. Glad I remembered instead of working on my Polaris is see everyone in Turin. Yeah, can't wait to see everybody. Paul Reagan, hi guys. Hi, thank you for
Hey,
tuning
Paul.
in.
Hey, Paul.
Not sure how much of this you caught, but you're a little late to the party. But tune in September 29th at 8 p.m. for another fun podcast. So Ben, closing remarks.
Yeah, I'd really like to thank the Carlson family for sharing their deeply personal story. To me, obviously, they're working through this grief, and my heart goes out to them. But at the same time, it's a story of hope and inspiration. So I'm just so grateful that you had the courage to share your story.
Yeah, likewise, definitely for sure. And I think I speak for everyone here. Our door is always open if you need to talk, because this is a community, and when one of us is having a hard time, we're all having a hard time, as far as I'm concerned. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I know this drug on for a while, but it felt like 15 minutes for me. I swear it gets faster and faster every time. But thank you for tuning into This Old Sled. Look forward to catching you on the next one. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Have a good night.